Good morning, everyone. We'd like to begin. What an obedient crowd. They never do that in church when you say we'd like to begin. They always talk. But thank you so much for being here today as we celebrate LECOM at Elmira. My name is Monsignor David Rubino, Vice President for LECOM. On behalf of our board chair, Marlene Mosco, who you will shortly hear from, our president and CEO, Dr. John Ferretti, our provost and chief academic officer, Dr. Sylvia Ferretti, Mary Eckert, CEO of Mill Creek Community Hospital and a board member, and Dr. Rich Terry and our students, welcome to this commemoration celebration. I cannot tell you how delighted my colleagues and I are here to be with you today. With COVID, I think it took 3 tries, 4 tries. I don't know how many times we tried this and canceled it, tried it and canceled it. But finally today, we celebrate the first birthday of LECOM at Elmira. This is our 4th campus. We have Erie, Bradenton, Greensburg, and now Elmira. And this is the first medical school in New York's southern tier. So we are truly proud and happy to be here and to celebrate with you. But as we begin, we pause for a moment to thank our common God for this moment. And let us pray. Lord, in your kindness, we ask you to bless this building dedicated to the education of physicians. May this building continue the traditions of osteopathic education, teaching students to blend helping hands, loving hearts, and open minds as they care for the body, soul, and spirits of their patients. May this building be a garden rooted with intellectual curiosity, truth, and compassion, training doctors to offer exceptional care for all of God's people. We give thanks today for the generous people who made LECOM at Elmira possible, and let us not forget ever those who struggle with access to medical care, shelter, and nourishment of the body and soul. These blessings we ask today through God our common Father. Amen. And please now join me in welcoming to the podium the chair of the Board of Trustees of LECOM, Marlene Mosco. Marlene?
Thank you, Monsignor Rubino, and I welcome all of you here today. I am Marlene Mosco. I am chair of the board of LECOM, and I would like to welcome all of our invited guests this morning. Thank you for this wonderful turnout on a Monday morning, which is really, really great. Thank you for joining us today as we celebrate LECOM at Elmira. Like so many things in our lives, the COVID-19 pandemic derailed our original plans to christen the state-of-the-art facility in 2020. Instead, we gather today on the eve of the school's 1-year anniversary. The delay in no way diminishes the significance of this moment, which has been quite literally years in the making. Today, we come together to celebrate not only LECOM's 4th campus, but more importantly, the first medical school in New York's southern tier. Since its founding nearly 3 decades ago, the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine has been a leader in meeting the challenges of the 21st century healthcare, and one of the school's founding principles has been to improve the quality of life for all humanity by providing expanded and enhanced levels of healthcare to underserved populations and regions. By establishing this campus, LECOM has ensured its highly trained and dedicated medical students will become the physicians of tomorrow who will fill a void and deliver the kind of quality, close-to-home healthcare to the residents of Elmira, Chemung County, and Western New York so desperately needed and deserved. On behalf of the LECOM administration and the Board of Trustees, we are grateful to everyone who helped propel LECOM at Elmira from concept to reality. We thank the City of Elmira and the local leadership for welcoming LECOM into your community with open arms, and we thank you for all joining us today. Please, please, please take a tour of this building. You are going to be so very impressed with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Moscow. Our next speaker needs absolutely no introduction to this crowd. He's a familiar face in Elmira. We call him, pardon me, Mr. Mayor, but we call him Mr. Elmira. Here's our dean, Dr. Richard Terry.
Hey, welcome everyone for joining us. Please allow me first to give some historical context for the reason we're here today. So 9 years ago, the Arnott Ogden Medical Center, which at that time was virgin territory to medical education, undertook a mission to bring up the next generation of physicians to serve this underserved population. My job back then was to develop Arnott Health for the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medical School as a training site, a clinical education training site. Now, mind you, there was nothing. There was no education for physicians at all. We did have a nursing program, which is excellent, we still have, but no physician education at all. So beginning with just a handful of LECOM students, just 16, we developed rotations in cores like medicine, surgery, OB, then specialty rotations. And then we laid the groundwork for residency education in the institution. Over the next several years, those student rotations blossomed in quality, and because of the work of many dedicated people, we developed residency programs. They were born. Well, a lot's changed today as we gather here. We have a thriving medical center for medical students. Arnott now has 6 accredited residencies, pipeline programs, and various programs, 2 accredited fellowships. About 50% of the graduates from Arnott actually stay in this region within around 50 or 60 miles. And about 35% have stayed right within the Arnott system to practice. In fact, we're proud to report that a number of new physicians practicing here, at least 5 or 6, were our LECOM students who we trained, went through our clinical training here at Arnott, did the rotations right here, and are now here. So Arnott has risen to become one of LECOM's finest undergraduate medical education training sites, much desired by many students from all over LECOM campuses. But we owe a debt of gratitude to many individuals who brought this vision into being, and whom I'll try to mention everyone along the way. First and foremost, the LECOM Board of Directors, who believed in this project, despite our challenges, stood with us through the completion of this project. Marlene Moscow, our board chairwoman, is here with us today, and Mary Eckert, our secretary of the board, and the CEO of Mill Creek Hospital in Erie is here with us as well. Thank you to both of you and all of the Board of Trustees for sticking with this project. I also want to thank our president, Dr. John Ferretti, who is here. He is a visionary leader, built LECOM to be the largest, most applied to, finest medical school in the country. And I have deep gratitude for his commitment to this project. I want to thank Dr. Sylvia Ferretti, our Dean and Provost of LECOM, for her unparalleled leadership and expertise in executing this project, which is gargantuan. Her guidance and mentorship on virtually every aspect of this project, and being a new dean, has been invaluable to me. Thank you. I appreciate it. In addition to her many other talents, she has a keen eye for architecture, and she designed this magnificent building. I can tell you she spent thousands of painstaking hours on every detail, and you will see it. It is an amazing academic structure. So thank you all for making this a reality. Let me also give thanks to Dr. William Huffner. He's not here with us. Dr. Huffner was the former chief medical officer of Arnott. I also want to thank Dr. Roger Shinoni, who is here with us. So Dr. Shinoni, incidentally, is the first DO to ever practice in Chemung County, the AT still of Chemung County, if you will. Both of these individuals, from the onset of our presence here, supported LECOM in our development of clinical training, residency training, and then ultimately a medical school here. They were behind us all the way. I want to recognize Jonathan Lawrence, the CEO of Arnott Health, our major partner here in Elmira. For the past 4 years, he's helped us grow the scope and quality of LECOM's presence there and medical education, and certainly we continue to work with him, and there's certainly more to come. Beyond Arnott, we have other training sites as well that you may all know about or not. We have training sites in Binghamton, Ithaca, Rochester, Utica, a number of other healthcare entities. In fact, LECOM has the largest clinical footprint of any medical school in upstate New York, about 14 different clinical sites. And I want to certainly mention that Hugh Thomas from Rochester Regional Health is here, and Rich Alweiss and Rob Mayo, thank you. And last week we did an announcement of affiliation with that fine health system for our students to rotate there starting next year in fairly large numbers. So thank you very much for attending. But back to where we are now. So about 7 years ago, LECOM and Elmira College discussed the feasibility of this audacious, crazy idea. Could we have a new medical school here on the campus of Elmira College? And Chuck Lindsay is here, our president. Thank you, Chuck, for your support over the years to finally get this done. He's always been a very strong advocate of us. And Chuck is the fourth. There was another president when we started this, and there was one or two in between, Chuck, so we're really happy you're here. And so we finally got it done. But many sane and intelligent people doubted, for good reason, the idea that this could ever come to fruition. I mean, and indeed, the accreditation process was gargantuan. It was arduous, and it literally dragged on for years. But perseverance, water over stone, worked, and by 2018, LECOM and Elmira had been green-lighted by the requisite bodies, the Commission on Osteopathic College Accreditation, the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, and finally, the New York State Board of Regents. And a shout out to George Winter and Carl Hayden. They helped shepherd us through that process, which is by no means easy. And they facilitated that to get through the Board of Regents, and we did. We got through all of it. We thereby became LECOM's fourth full four-year medical school campus, the first and only medical school in the southern tier of New York State, making Elmira one of only 152 cities in the country that has a medical school. Now let's put that in perspective. There are 10,000 cities in this country our size or a little larger, and we have a medical school here. Pretty remarkable. 3 days from now, our second class of 120 students will arrive here on Friday for orientation to begin their medical school. Our first class of 120 will resume class in early August. We're proud of all of them. We're proud of our faculty. We're proud of the many individuals, too many to name, who've helped us bring this dream to life. And we are proud of this community and the support it has given us. And I'm also happy to report our second years are 100% vaccinated, and our first years are 98%. And we'll get them to 100% by Friday. So we're deeply appreciative of Governor Cuomo for his crucial support through the Southern Tier Regional Economic Development Grant, which is $3 million, which helped us build this magnificent structure. Please, as Marlene said, take a tour. We also want to recognize with sincere appreciation the unwavering support of Senator Schumer, who did come a couple times on behalf of our accreditation to speak for us. He could not come today, something going on in Washington or something, but he stood by us every step of the way. He was here for us, and hopefully we'll get him here at some point. We have to mention with deep gratitude the incredible support given to this project by our state and local civic leaders, Senator Tom O'Mara, who is here, our county executive, Chris Moss, and the mayor of Elmira, Dan Mendel. They have been incredibly supportive all the time, every single time. I want to mention Tom Santulli, our previous county executive, because he actually made the trek to Chicago with Dr. Sylvia and I to COCA to testify on behalf of us in 2015 on our first accreditation review. So thank you, all of you. Thank you for your support. I want to thank our capital campaign donors. They generously contributed to the construction of this building. Thank you for helping make LECOM at Elmira a reality. We appreciate that. Often, many have commented how transformational this project is and continues to be for both the city and the region, both socially and economically. But let me say a word regarding its impact from a different perspective. Humanistic and healthcare delivery. In essence, it is simply this. Having a medical school here allows us to reverse the region's status as one of the most medically underserved in the state. It changes everything. It is a game changer for healthcare delivery. And here, my friends, is an example of how that process starts. Let me introduce Morgan Goodell. Morgan, stand up. All right. All right. Thank you, Morgan. I don't want to embarrass you, but Morgan's a local kid. She's born and raised in Elmira. I first met her when she waited on us very competently at a local restaurant several times. Now, I had many emails and phone calls. Hey, Rich, you got to take this kid. She's great. She's going to be a great doctor. Well, she just completed her first year of medical school here. And let me tell you, Morgan is a great student and now a second-year student. She's going to be a fantastic doctor, and she wants to pursue a specialty in primary care. She told me family medicine or OB. I'm going to keep working on family medicine. I have another 2 years to convince her. But you know what? She's coming back here to practice. And you see, folks, that's what this is all about. Recruiting local students from the southern tier, western New York, and other underserved areas of the state, and also western Pennsylvania. Most of our applicants come from New York or the Northeast Corridor, a lot from this area of Pennsylvania. To come here, get a high-quality medical education, join our profession, and serve their communities. So our mantra is simple: recruit local students, train them locally, and retain them. LECOM at Elmira will create a sustainable pipeline of future physicians that will go a long way towards alleviating healthcare disparities, creating greater access to healthcare, and providing humanistic, compassionate care that this community deserves. Thank you very much for celebrating with us. Enjoy the day. Thank you.
And I think it's appropriate for me to say we want to thank Dr. Rich Cherry for all the work he did in making this happen. State Senator Tom Elmira from the New York 58th District is our next speaker. The senator, in his July 5th column entitled From the Capitol, noted the importance of, quote, keeping turning the pages this summer. Senator, I assure you, our students, although they do not get to choose the books they read, will attest they have a long reading list and will gladly serve as an example of the importance of reading and turning the pages this summer and this fall. Please welcome to the podium State Senator Tom Elmira. Tom.
I never really thought my summer reading program was aimed at medical students, but I'll take it. That's great. Thanks for that recognition. Thank you to LECOM for locating here at Elmira. You know, we talk about economic development in New York a lot, and our regional councils are designed to foster that economic development. And we're always talking about transformational projects. And we have a lot of projects we've done. I've never seen one as transformational as this for the city of Elmira. So I want to thank LECOM. I want to thank the Ferrettis for your massive investment here in Elmira. You know, it's about access to health care, about training and retaining physicians, as was just said by Dr. Terry. And, you know, who knows better about the quality of life here in Elmira in the southern tier than those of us that have grown up here and lived here. You know, we often struggle with recruitment in many areas of business in our economy. And having LECOM here, it's just going to be an amazing ability to attract and to retain quality health care. But as we're building health care, supposed to be expanding options, the first impact to me of LECOM was that I lost my primary care physician, Dr. Roger Shinoni, who's in the back row up there. So I started out in the negative, but I've rebounded fine, and I've got great quality health care once again. So, Roger, thank you. I miss you. It is, you know, it's my pleasure to be here to help commemorate this, and it has been a long road. A couple of administrations and county government, the city's longtime involvement here. Thank you, Mayor Mandel, County Executive Moss, in helping this all come to fruition. My predecessor, George Winter, certainly involved and engaged in this process all along, and the Regional Council of the Southern Tier committing $3 million to this project, to this overall $20 million investment in the city of Elmira. And I don't think any of it really would have happened despite all the efforts of everybody here without Dr. Terry and his tenaciousness over the years, from the starting of bringing students here into the Arnett health system to work, it's starting the residency program, and now having the college here. Truly, this is a transformational project for the entire Southern Tier, but particularly here in the city of Elmira, where we're often way too pessimistic and hard on ourselves. But we've got so much to offer here, and such a great place to live and to raise a family, that this addition of LECOM only adds to that and will strengthen our community for generations to come. So again, thank you to LECOM and the Ferrettis for your great investment here, and to all involved in this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. Our next speaker is a familiar face, our county executive. We know full well how he has pushed hard for people to be vaccinated. As Dr. Terry said, our students will be vaccinated, that we can assure you. But also, we appreciate his hosting of what I understand is an annual event. This event, we hope your new LECOM family will attend. It's the annual Christmas Pig Roast, where rain or shine, we roast the swine. So rain or shine, we roast the swine and we'll eat it, I hope. County Executive Chris Moss. Chris?
Good morning, and thank you. Senator, you know what? Dr. Shinoni did the same thing to me, so we'll have to talk. Yeah, same thing to me. First and foremost, I want to thank the Board of Trustees of LECOM. I want to thank the Ferrettis, and a big thank you to the point person for this project, Dr. Terry. I could tell you a couple stories, but I'll just tell you one. When this guy wants something done, he's persuasive. And I don't know why I ever gave him my cell number. So I remember one day he calls me and he says, you know what, NYSEG won't move a pole. You got any connections at NYSEG? I need this pole moved immediately. I said, okay, okay, doctor, calm down. We'll get it moved. So he maybe gave me 60 minutes, text me back, how'd you make out? I'm like, Doc, I'll get it done by the end of the day, but let me tell you, he's a mover and a shaker. There's no doubt about that. For those of you that grew up in this area like I did, right where we're sitting and standing right now was a baseball field. And when I was Huck Finn Little League, when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, I played for Lib Supper Club right here. And, I don't know how many home runs I hit, but I can tell you, LECOM and the community has hit a home run with this project. We have the opportunity here in Elmira and Chemung County to make this the catalyst of our revitalization. There used to be a Sears and Roebuck down the street, and all those things are gone, but now we're focusing on new ideas, which smaller cities have done to make themselves successful. Hilliard's a perfect example. They've built out, made this community beautiful. This school is really going to accentuate and make this community just a better place. We need more housing. We need more retail, and those are things we are working on. Is it going to make the medical profession better? It's going to make it awesome to have doctors homegrown and doctors that graduate from this facility stay right here in the Southern Tier in upstate New York. It's fabulous. I can't say enough about it. From a county executive perspective, we always look at, wow, we're going to have sales tax revenue. That's great. You know what? We want those stores. We want those rental apartments and so forth to come. So, you know what? Again, I want to thank the Ferrettis. I want to thank LECOM. I want to thank the Board of Commissioners, their Board of Directors for everything you've done. We want to continue to be a great partner here in Chemung County. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Last but hardly least, please welcome our mayor, Mayor Mendel. From the beginning stages of this project, the mayor has been wonderfully supportive of seeing LECOM as a regional and a local access. So supportive has the mayor been that out of 4 sites, I believe this is the first site that we've been at where we had a parade that welcomed us on the first day. So Mayor, thank you for the parade. I now invite you to the podium, Mayor Dan.
Well, good morning, everybody. Definitely glad to be here today. Plans to bring LECOM here, as Dr. Terry said, began several years ago. It was quite a process. I know Dr. Terry did his due diligence to make sure that this became a reality. The accreditation process was very difficult, but through his perseverance and that of LECOM's, to the Ferrettis for everything they've done, LECOM's now a reality here in the city of Elmira. Many thanks to everyone who did work diligently to make sure this medical school was built, especially to Dr. Terry and to the Ferrettis, who never gave up hope on this endeavor. Our deepest gratitude also goes out to Governor Cuomo, the state of New York, and Senator Schumer, who had staunch support behind this project, as well as our Senator Tom O'Mara, our Assemblyman Chris Friend, and also our County Executive Chris Moss. And as I mentioned before, the former County Executive Tom Santulli was instrumental in helping bringing this med school to a reality at this community and to our city. One thing we learned during this pandemic is the importance of medical care and the importance of having doctors in your community. As we found, there's a great need for medical professionals. We found out through this difficult time. The importance of the contribution of LECOM to our community cannot be understated, as there is a great need for physicians, nurses, and other medical professionals, not only in our community, but throughout the country. And LECOM will help support that cause. It's essential to have good medical and accessible medical care, as this is a vital necessity to a community's health and quality of life, as we talked about earlier. Quality of life is very important. Let's talk about the economic impacts. As the county executive mentioned, the economic impacts are going to be huge and enormous. We've already started to see that. We have students that are living in our downtown area. We have market rate apartments going up. I see Mr. Reedman's here today. We have shops starting to open up. I mean, Elmira downtown is alive again. So we've got a lot to look forward to and a lot to grow on just because of this medical school. In closing, I'd just like to say, from a grateful community and a grateful city, thank you to everyone involved to bring this medical school to this city, as it's going to make a definite change and impact in our community. And we welcome all of you here to our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor. At this time, I would like to have now the birthday ribbon cutting. So we'd like to invite Saeed Rasul, students Nina Ventura, Joseph Sarro, and Morgan Goodell to join us down front to begin the birthday ribbon cutting ceremony. I think Stephanie has the ribbon. Don't forget that. Now, Dr. Terry and Marlene Moscow will do the honors of officially cutting the ribbon. Rich and Marlene, be careful. Thank you all very much. This ends the birthday celebration, but I would like to thank all of you for taking time out of your very busy personal and professional lives today to join us for this very special and really transformational event. As you've heard a couple times, for anyone wishing to take a tour of the campus, and we surely do hope that you'll make yourself available for that tour, we have LECOM at Elmira second-year students standing on the ends of the aisles, and they will gladly take you on a tour of their beautiful campus and of this beautiful building. For the Capital Campaign contributors, we thank you for your gift, and we ask you please, after the ceremony, to see Stephanie Craig and Caitlin Thomas at the bottom of the stairs for a special thank you gift. Again, thank you for joining us today. And they'll hate me for doing this, but this doesn't happen unless a person really has vision and courage to make it happen. So it's important, I think, that we recognize Dr. John Ferretti, whose courage and vision made this happen today. Dr. John, thank you. And this next person will really hate me for this. But this was designed, overseen, every detail by Dr. Sylvia. She's a wonderful physician, a wonderful provost, a wonderful teacher. But she's also an artist. She's an artist who doesn't paint with a brush and a color, but she paints with steel and bricks and concrete, just as a painter would use a brush. She's designed all our LECOM buildings. This is a magnificent demonstration of attention to detail and a vision as an artist. So please congratulate Dr. Sylvia. And we've said enough about Dr. Richard Terry for a year, so we're done. Take a tour. Thank you for the pleasure of your company. Thank you.